Welcome back, guys, with me, Brad Fitzpatrick. Today we're going to be doing some more of Her Lie I Tried to Believe. This gripping, heartbreaking tale of just a very toxic relationship all the way around. I appreciate you listening to the first part, and hopefully the second part you'll enjoy as well. Let's see. Let's begin. It was on impulse. It had already been 2 hours since we left the hotel. I was driving in the middle of the night, not knowing still where this road was going to lead us. She had stopped talking and asking me questions for a while now, only looking through the window motionlessly. She still hasn't touched her food yet. She was mad. Maybe? It was too dark for me to really see her expression from the angle of her face. Still, I was curious about her thoughts right now. She, who never showed her true color, what lies underneath her carefree and good-natured demeanor? Maybe something like me? But her silence was too good to be true. Soon, her mouth started moving again. You're really doing this, aren't you? Do you even know the impact of this choice you're about to make? I don't care. Then why are you doing this? If you don't care, I'm doing this because I can't stand seeing you like this anymore. That's why. Don't you understand that this life of yours is not worth living? If this continues on like this, they're going to... To what? Kill me? Break me? Why should you care? Shouldn't you be rejoicing? After all, you hate me. Shut up! I skipped one. Sorry, guys. Shut up. But it's the truth, isn't it? Shut up! I shouted at her. I didn't want to have this conversation. I didn't even know the answer myself. All I knew is that I needed to get as far away as possible, as soon as possible. Is this because you feel responsible? Is that it? Then I'm going to clear things up once and for all. This has nothing to do with you. It never had. This has always been my father's fault to begin with. This is not your responsibility. You understand? I'll be the one judging on that. They are the mafia, Tim. I owe them a lot of money. If I just disappear like this, they are going to pursue me and find me. And if at that time you're there with me, they're not going to let you off easily. They're going to... She stops talking. From the corner of my eye, I can see her tears rolling down her cheek uncontrollably, as if the thought of my death alone was enough to make her cry. What of it? I can sense her powerful gaze on me the moment those words leave my mouth. Anger. Something I've never seen throughout her features, no matter how I treated her, has now been triggered by those simple and trivial words. Don't you understand how dangerous this is? They're going to kill you. You have a girlfriend, don't you? And a job you worked hard to obtain? If you persist in trying to save me like this, you're going to throw away everything you've been trying to build your whole life. You can't sacrifice all of this for something as stupid as... My foot slammed the brake pedal with all its might. The scream of the tire stretched out for a long 5 seconds until the car finally stopped completely. I then leaned on her, unlocked her door, and opened it in one single motion. If you don't like this, then get out. We're still close to the bus station. You can probably manage to return to the city before morning. I have made my decision, and I don't plan for you to understand it. Responsibility? Toward whom? You? Don't make me laugh. I'm doing this for myself, all right? She muttered one single word. Liar. How stupid can you be? I ain't fucking lying, you dumb bitch. A girlfriend? A job? A life? I have no interest in those fucking things. I always felt completely empty. All this fucking painful life of mine has always been one big reoccurring joke. No, I've been waiting for this kind of opportunity all my life. It just so happens that it is tonight. Now. Or you follow me and become my partner in crime, or you get the fuck out and return to that hell you proudly call your life. She looks at me in the eyes. The same way she always does when we're having sex. She has no smile. She has no expression. She has no happiness. The purity with which she's always been looking at the world around her is nowhere to be found, as if it was always but a fleeting illusion. This is the real her. She doesn't shift her cold gaze from me while closing her door slowly. I've waited for this my whole life, and there's no way I'm going to let it get away from me like this. Let's go. Those are her words. Powerful, without any hesitation. I don't say anything back. I'm not able to. Her determination seems dangerous somehow. So I just unconsciously started driving again, as though this whole conversation never took place. I break eye contact with her to focus on the road. Is this maybe what they call eloping? It's exciting. The moment my eyes fall back on her, she has the most beautiful smile I've ever seen in this world. Chapter 7. Eloping isn't the word. After driving for half a day, we finally stopped in a cheap motel to rest and regain some of our energy. At the same time, I took this opportunity to collect my thoughts. While this situation might have started as a brainless and impulsive act, keeping up with this attitude will only bring us down in the long run. In the end, we might need a good plan if we want a good shot at this. I first thought we had a good amount of time ahead of us, but this assumption was a big mistake of mine. By asking for a bit more details, I found out that Cassandra was living with another hostess from that bar. So even though she's working only once a week, the other girl will soon find out about her disappearance. I could have asked her to try and contact that girl and maybe convince her not to say a word to their boss, but this would have been too big a risk for only postponing the inevitable as a result. Ultimately, I think trusting someone will only trigger the start of our downfall. I look at her. She's carelessly sleeping beside me while I'm the one stressing out about all those things. She doesn't seem to care all that much since she showed me that determination of hers. Seriously, what am I doing? Getting out of my way for what? This? Sleeping in a cheap-ass bed? Eating this disgusting convenience store food? This is all her. No, what am I thinking? No matter how I look at this, I choose to do this for my own volition. Right? I shouldn't hold it against her. Still, I know. There's a darkness in my heart that I have yet to get rid of. That darkness which is whispering me to destroy her. So, did you choose where we're going, my love? She says shamelessly the moment we enter the car. Stop that. It's disturbing. But we're eloping. I can at least call you that much. Right? No, we're not. Eloping would mean that we're about to wed, and we're clearly not. But I want to wed. I love you, and we're going to live together from now on, so... She puts her head on my shoulder while smiling brightly. So what? There's no logic behind your words. And get off of me. I shake her off without any consideration of her feelings, or even her well-being. Boo, you're no fun. She sticks out her tongue like a little kid before turning her attention toward the window, sulking. Man, she's a handful. I've decided our destination. I've thought about it for a long time, and what do you think of Las Vegas? She instantly looks back at me, sparkles in her eyes. So, does that mean we're really going to get married after all? I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas. Back off. I've decided this out of convenience for us, not for your little fantasy. Well, I knew how much she wanted to go there. She talked about it more than once, so I might have taken that into account. But I'm not actually going to say that, am I? But I don't understand. Shouldn't we try to go to some unknown villages instead of going to such a big city To try and lay low or something? Aren't we asking to be found if we go there? Not exactly. The best place to hide a tree is inside a forest, right? Logically, when you think about someone trying to escape from a group like the Mafia, you think that this place is going to hide in some distant place, far away from urban civilization. That's exactly how his pursuers are going to think too. So naturally, they're going to first search those uncivilized areas. You understand where I'm going with this? Yeah, but while it does look all good on paper, doesn't mean it will go that smoothly. That place is known to be run by criminals, right? So it shouldn't be too far-fetched to think that they have ties to our pursuers. If we're going to a small place, village, or whatever, we're going to attract a lot of unwanted attention. They all know each other in those places, you know, and look at us. Not what we would call countryside people, are we? If you say so. She doesn't seem to buy it. Is she scared? She shouldn't be. One more thing. I need her to understand this perfectly, else none of this is worth it. Even if they find us, it doesn't change anything, does it? In the end, both of our lives have never been worth living. I won't live my days in such a boring place as the village, or crawling in fear inside a hole somewhere. My life has been nothing but boredom already, so... She looked at me, clueless. Let's try and have some fun, shall we? She regains that smile of hers so naturally, a beautiful, pure, and bright smile. That smile I would have done anything to destroy before. I was now the source of its existence. I should feel flattered by this. I should. Yet, how disgusting. Chapter 8. Las Vegas. Oh wow, so they I guess they are in the United States. That's kind of weird. It took us another day and a half to arrive at our destination. So 3 days all in all. Since it was on Friday night that we've eloped, like Cassandra loved so much to say, we were now obviously Monday, late in the evening. The moment we've entered the core of the city, she became ecstatic. At every street corner, she would be like, "Oh," or "Look, look, look, it's so beautiful," or again, "I want to go there, let's go there, all right?" And every time, I would just keep my eyes on the road, half listening to her, and when I feel like she's pestering me too much, I would simply say something like, "We need to find a place to crash first. Be patient, all right?" She was so excited about trivial things that I started wondering what kind of life she has led up until then. She was a prostitute, right? Then why do I feel so much like I'm with a kid somehow? Was it really a good thing to bring her with me? To bring her to such a place? One thing we didn't have to worry about, though, was our budget. I had lots of economy from my old part-time job, as well as my current one. Well, current might not be the case anymore, but whatever. Since I lived my life up until then pretty much modestly, or more like pathetically, I had more than enough for the both of us for quite a respectable amount of time. Obviously, the first place we decided to hit was the mandatory casino. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to see here, so... We've drunk a lot, and when I mean a lot, I mean we didn't as much as think of ever stopping throughout the night. My kind of night. She looked at everything with eyes full of curiosity. The old people on their slot machines would be very intriguing to her. She could gaze at them for 30 minutes without end. And when I asked her if she wanted to try, she looked at me with a smile and said, "They look so pathetic. It's almost pitiful. But when you think about it, aren't we the same? We pass our lives routinely doing the same emotionless movements, forgetting even about the meaning behind it. I wonder, if there's a God, wouldn't he look at us with the same pity?" I walked closer to her, put my hand on her head, and looked at her silently. I wanted to somehow comfort her, but no word came to mind. That's when she continued. "As long as we're together, let's not do this, all right? I want this to be special. Us, You don't need to force yourself. You don't need to love me. But at least make sure we never forget, okay? Never forget the reason we're here right now. All right. Never. I promise. I took her by the hand and led her throughout the maze of bright and colorful machines. But was it a good thing to ascertain her wish? I mean, not forgetting the reason why we're here would mean we would be always fearing to be found. Always running. Or maybe that's what she wanted. She would also look at me with great interest when playing blackjack. She didn't know the rules, but the moment I explained to her, she would try and help me sometimes. She was smart. Oh, for that she was. I almost forgot she was at the top of our school once. To think that she became so innocent. Or maybe she always has been. But the way I imagined her at that time, I thought she was a strong-willed woman that could do anything if she put her mind to it. But I couldn't have been more wrong. She was fragile, delicate, and pure. Any man would have been better for her. Any man. Yet, she was unlucky enough to choose me out of all of them. The moment we started to become really wasted was the moment everything started to slowly crumble. I had to go to the washroom because of the alcohol, obviously, and the instant I got out of it, I saw her speaking with another man. Well, okay. She wasn't speaking to him more than he was trying to hit on her. But whatever. Her eyes were different then when she's with me. She had a stern expression, cold as ice. It was obvious she was trying to get rid of him, but he seemed persistent. I came up to them and asked if she knew him. I don't. He was actually about to leave. Right? Oh, so he's your boyfriend. Sorry, man. It's such a beautiful woman you have there. I couldn't pass by her without at least trying. He looked at me with that expression, as if what he did was the most natural thing in the world. What did he ask of you? I asked her plainly. Nothing. Answer me, I shouted, not minding the people around us. Obviously, most of them did turn around from my sudden outburst. She didn't want to answer, but knowing me, she finally looked down and said, he asked me how much it was for the night. You just treated her as a prostitute? I'm sorry, he repeated back again. But as I said, she's a very attractive girl, so leave, I said emotionlessly, and without waiting, I repeated the order again. I said, leave. He replied to me, Okay, no need to be so cold. Jeez, you're meant to be together, you two. I wasn't talking to you, Cass. Leave. Wait for me outside while I deal with this bitch. What did you just say? The man became visibly agitated the moment he understood my words. No, Tim, come with me. I don't want to be alone. I don't care how he treated me. Just come, all right? Let's stay together. I took a stance, no longer minding her presence next to me. She started hugging me from behind, probably by fear of me jumping on the guy. What are you doing? Stop, you idiot! Before I could finish my sentence, I was hit in the face by the man in front of me. He probably took her action as an opportunity to hit me by surprise. I almost lost my balance, but was somehow able to keep my ground. If I stumbled right now, I would fall on her. A second hit came, and I had no other choice but to take it yet again. I fell on a knee. At that moment, she finally understood what was happening, and she decided to protect me from up front instead. Leave him alone! Don't you see he's not in any position to fight? The guy did stop by her words. But he did say something along the line of, next time, know with whom you're dealing with, punk, before leaving as though he just conquered the world. I stayed close to the ground for some time while she kept on hugging me. I sensed rage welling up inside of me, and the only thing she thought to say was, I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Her useless apologies only fueled my anger. I got up from the ground without looking at her and started walking toward the nearest bar. I wanted to be alone. I knew what would happen if she kept on following me, but sure enough, there was nowhere for her to go. I drank a couple of shots on my own. She was sitting next to me, but I ignored her. She didn't ask for a drink herself, nor did she start a conversation, but she kept on looking at me. I was the center of her whole world. That's how I felt at that moment. After that, I went outside dejectedly. I was so drunk, I don't even know how I was able to walk so straight. That is, if I was really walking straight to begin with. It was nighttime, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. She was shivering somehow. She repeated that she was cold multiple times. I didn't really understand how it was possible since it was relatively hot at that moment. I lit a cigarette and simply looked at one point in space without thinking much of anything, until... Hold me. Please, I'm cold. She wanted me to hold her, ridiculously enough. Get lost. She was annoying. But I want to be close to you, please. She didn't change gear even though I was so frigid toward her. She never did. But tonight it was even more than that. She outright showed her dependence on me. No. She approached me nonetheless. The moment her hands touched me, I pushed her hard to the ground. She fell on her butt, her face slightly contouring in pain. Others were looking at me. It seems like I was the bad guy tonight. No, dude. You were the bad guy since birth. I couldn't care less. I didn't feel anything. I looked at her emotionlessly. She staggered back to her feet, and when she did, she kept her smile on her face, only looking at me. She walked again toward me and said, "Again." She wanted to be pushed over again. What the fuck was her problem? Well, not that I really minded. When she touched me again, I pushed her in the same fashion I did before. She again stumbled on the ground, got back on her feet, and walked up to me. I started laughing. How the fuck was she so stupid? Doesn't she understand how mad I am right now? Do I even understand it myself? I pushed her. On the ground, she was laughing. Like me, I guess. But this time, she had a harder time getting back up. People were eyeing us as though we were not part of their world. Another species entirely. You're such an airhead sometimes. My anger had totally dissipated thanks to her stupid act. I helped her back on her feet and we entered the casino anew. She was happy. She had locked arms with me, and she was holding me so tight I had no choice but to leave her to her own devices. We walked past a multitude of tables, all of which had different ways of carelessly losing your money. She took notice of one in particular. I want to try this one. Give me 20. All right. I gave it to her happily, somewhat intrigued by her sudden desire to play a game. Since we've got here, she was always simply looking my way, happy to see me gamble with no interest in participating herself. She puts the chip, wow, I have no idea how to say that. The croupier? I would have just called it a dealer. She puts the chip the dealer gave to her on the number 0. Wait. You do know how it works, right? Yeah? What of it? You know you only have one chance out of 37 while playing like this. Sure. The roulette started turning and turning, and soon enough, the little ball slowed down to stop inside one slot in particular. And sure enough, that slot wasn't the number she... Wait, What? Yay, I won, babe! How is this fucking possible? Yeah, I know less than 3% is still more than zero. Still. She had won a little bit more than $700. She wanted to give it to me, but I didn't accept it. Even if she didn't necessarily work for it, it feels as though she used a lot of her unused luck to win it. She bought us 2 bottles of wine, and we finished the night at our hotel. She was on top of me. She looked at me with those passionate eyes of hers. She had a letter opener in her hands. It was lying around at the bedside table, I think. The moment she noticed it, she took it hastily as though she had just had a great idea. She then said, "I want to write my name on your body with this. Can I?" I said, "Sure." Carelessly, without ever breaking eye contact with her, I looked at her every movement with great interest. She applied pressure on my stomach with the edge of the thing, but it didn't do much good. Her name was there all right, but it would probably disappear in less than 5 minutes. She was too soft. Still, she was satisfied with the result. I wasn't. She looked at my stomach, contemplatively. I took that opportunity to grab the hand which she held the letter opener and pushed it hard on my belly. "What are you?" "This is how you do it. If you want to appropriate me, do it properly." "Appropriate you?" I didn't reply to her. My eyes were enough to convey my thoughts. I don't want to hurt you." "If you don't want to, then get off me." She cried right then. She cried. But while doing so, she started carving her name on my body thoroughly, because those weren't tears of sorrow. She was genuinely happy. Chapter 9. The second day. The next day, I woke up with one of those fucking headaches, the ones where you can't even stand straight. The first thing I noticed was the blood on the bed sheets. At first, I thought she might have been on her period, but soon remembered the reason as I tried to get up to my feet. My stomach was stinging as hell. When I looked at what she's done, I was extremely disturbed. She didn't go easy on me, all right. Now that I would have wanted it any other way. I had to think of buying rubbing alcohol, or else it would start infecting like shit. The next thing I noticed was my face in the mirror. That guy didn't go easy on me either. My right eye was swollen, and I had a nasty bruise on my cheek as well. She too looked rather pathetic herself. Her ass and lower back were quite irritated, probably because of me keeping on pushing her to the ground the night prior. And I must have been a bit too rough during sex last night, since she had faint blue marks on her forearms. And we're not even talking about the headaches she must have too. So, what do we do first thing in the morning? We started drinking. What else? We already looked fucking disastrous, so we needed to at least play the part as well. And, after a couple of beers, I could proudly say that the headache had subdued considerably. So, when it is all said and done, it wasn't such a bad idea in the end. Little hair of the dog never hurt anybody. She wanted to go to the Ferris Wheel. Yep, there's a Ferris Wheel in Las Vegas, the biggest one in the world even. It is called the High Roller Ferris Wheel, if I remember correctly. It's a huge thing that takes almost 30 minutes simply to make one complete rotation. And, even though I tried to explain it to her it would be best to ride that kind of attraction during the night, she wouldn't listen to any of it, as if the damn thing would run off on its own or something. In the end, I had no other choice but to comply with her nagging demand. Sometimes she can be very persuasive. I should say, not that I actually want to explain why. So her first statement upon seeing the thing from up close was, "Whoa, it's so huge." That's what she said. "It might be a bit too scary now that we're actually here." "You're not going to pussy out on me here, are you?" You were the one who dragged me all the way here. So now there's no way I'm going back without seeing what on the top of it. Wow. Top of it, you hear? Ha ha ha. It's probably some clouds and stuff. Let's just go, alright? Oh, no, no, no. You won't run away that easily. I put my arm around her hips and bring her really close to me. She's become pretty much my prisoner the moment I got a hold of her. Ah, what are you doing? Let go, let go. I don't want to go. Oh? You sure you want me to let go? She blushes the moment she hears my words and finally says faintly as though she surrendered. No, please. Keep on holding me like this. In the end, she did ride it, but she sat on me the whole time. Since it's the biggest Ferris wheel in the world, the passengers' cars are quite spacious indeed. The advantage being that we can stand inside and walk from one end to the next, but the downside is that we're forced to ride it with strangers, and that, in and of itself, is a deal breaker for me. The idea of even riding it was scaring the shit out of her earlier, but now she's completely engrossed in the view, pointing towards things we've seen on our way over here, or making comments on things she thought was bigger and whatnot. I wondered if she was even scared to begin with. Maybe it was all just an act to be able to sit on me the whole ride. What a sly woman. Still, she earned it the moment I bought it. Suddenly, she broke her easygoingness and took a tone she doesn't usually take. Tim, answer me seriously, all right? I'm always serious. What was up with her? I didn't like the way she was bringing things along. She moved her glasses and looked at me in the eyes. Do you regret coming all the way here with me? What are you saying, idiot? I was the one who brought you with me. There's no way I would regret any of it. Yeah, but that's because it still hasn't been a week since we ran away. In no time, I'm sure you will change your mind. And when that time comes, you'll hold it against me. Since when do you care what I think of you? She averts her eyes from mine and gazes at the ground instead. She doesn't ignore my senseless words like she normally does. I might have really hurt her this time around. I guess I always had poor tact. As long as I have your name on my stomach, I won't forget the reason we've done this. And if I forget nonetheless, you'll be the one reminding me. All right? If only I could. She takes my face in her hands. She traces every turn and corners of it before kissing me dearly. You're so gentle. You're the most gentle man I've ever known, and I've noticed his kindness since the first moment I laid eyes on you. You are completely batshit crazy, lady, if you think he's gentle. Whatever. What is she saying? She must be blind, or else I'm the only man she ever looked at. No, I'm a vile and disgusting man. Anyone will sooner or later hate me. Even her. I should be the one saying this to her. That she's gentle. That she's perfect. Yet I say none of these things. I know the moment I open my mouth, I'll destroy this moment. It seems so perfect. Something more cozy. But I'm going to end it right here, guys. That was just a short little thing. We're going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing it. And I will be back for more, but I just have something I've got to do tonight. I just wanted to give you a little bit of heads up of what's going along here. Hopefully we will actually get this completed within the next day or two. Thank you for listening. If you have anything you'd like to say in the comments, please do. Let me know what you think. Otherwise, remember, always be kind to each other. And I will see you in the next video.